Subscribe for the very latest.
Play it, Daddy.
But let's get into some producer talk. We here in Atlanta. We here in Georgia. Shout out to Georgia. I love Georgia. My second home. I came to Georgia when Georgia was lit.
Yeah.
I came here in the 2000s, early 2000s, right? Georgia was on fire, man. On fire. The beautiful thing about my hip hop, lineage or this learning hip hop is that I was there. I was alive in some pivotal moments of hip hop. I was birthed in the structuring of hip hop. I was born right there in 1980 when hip hop was forming, or maybe about 10 years in, maybe something like that. But just forming because the first song had just dropped the year before by Sugar Hill Gang. That the song that is the blueprint of hip hop, which is Rapper's Delight. The industry of hip hop. But I came to Atlanta when T.I. was really, because I heard I'm serious. Before I came to Georgia, like in 90, maybe 2000, somewhere in there. But there's a certain era of hip hop in Atlanta that a lot of people didn't really like at first. The world didn't like, and it's the snap your finger era, I call it. That's what I call it, the snap your finger era. So we're gonna break this down a little bit. It's another question too, Trent, that I forgot to put on here that I'm gonna ask tonight too.
What's that?
I'm gonna try to keep this as structured as possible. I'm gonna get to that though.
Yeah.
So the snap your finger era. To your recollection, who started it?
D4 did D4L start? No.
So you got D4L.
I don't know if they started. Were they the ones that started it though?
So the main contributors to this era, and if y'all don't know about this, I'm gonna just tell you. I'm gonna break this down what the snap your finger era is. So there was a software, and this is just my recollection. This is what I remember it to be. So there was a software that just came out not too long ago.
There was, or there is. There was, there is.
It still is. It still is. It's called Fruity Loops, right?
FL for sure for the current people.
FL, exactly. Fruity Loops was free at this time, right? I remember it was a free software, and I don't. There were only a few sounds that I guess that people were using out this Fruity Loops, and it was that snap. And from what I remember, that doom 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 or doom 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 doom, like it was some very basic elements to that software that people were using at this time. But the snap was the snap sound was the catch. That was the consistent sound that people was using, right? Mm-hmm. So that's just the sound element that I remember. Y'all in the comments, y'all can let me know what y'all remember, right? I'm sure somebody was there other than me. Now, Trent.
Yes, sir.
Remember this place where we did the vinyl. The vinyl is a label that we started almost probably about 20 years ago, me and Trent. We had a record label called the Vinyl that we were doing music. And, we planned on doing a lot of things with that label. But there was a certain place that we knew of that they had 2 locations in Georgia. And it was called the Pool Palace.
Then your knees rock your hips through the pool palace.
I remember that.
It was, I want to say, y'all, Chuck, you correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong. There were two locations. There was the east side and the west side pool palace, I think. But it was this dance called the pool palace, which y'all see that doom 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 doom. That's the pool palace. If I'm not, I'm an older gentleman.
You're dating yourself.
I recall it's so many things that I have in my head about hip hop. I probably done forgot about. But I want to say that dance is called the pool palace. Just like E40 says in the song "Stop Your Fingers" by Little John. He said, "Hey, shawty, what's the name of that dance you doing?" She said, "It's the pool palace." He says, "You good at it." Right? That's to paraphrase what he said. So, yes, it was called the pool palace. Now, this dance had the city on fire.
Boy, did it?
Yes, it did.
Jesus.
But the pioneers to this dance is D4L. Really, I'm going to say D4L is, Shawty Low. R.I.P. to Shawty Low. I miss Shawty Low. He was a guy that I think that people laughed at, but he proved you wrong every time.
Coming up, my mother was on drugs, and it was my daddy, he was elsewhere, and my grandmother raised me. And and that's all I seen, and that's all I know. I came into the life of crime. Like, at first I started robbing, and then, I ended up started trying to sell drugs. I used to see the dope boys in the Cadillacs, dealing with the girls and stuff.
He proved you wrong every time. When he did D4L, people laughed at it. He put that together. But D4L became legendary.
What are all these people doing behind you?
Come on, baby. That's my theme music. Every good to have some, huh?
Then he went out by himself and did They Know.
All my haters.
I mean, so many classic hits in Atlanta. He was killing them. He had a vision, and he had money, and he went after his dreams.
There you go.
And Shawty Low will be missed, sincerely missed. But he and D4L, I feel like him, and then you add Fabo. I don't know the other ones, but those are the two that stand out. What do y'all remember about this time? What do y'all remember about this time?
Music was really, hip hop music was really weird at that time, where stuff like that was just, it was the most basic stuff, and it was
working.
It was working. It was blowing up everywhere, man. I mean, like, you really can't say nothing about it. I mean, regardless of how you feel about it, it was doing numbers, and it was getting attention. So
let's wake this up a little bit. Trim didn't like it.
I was like, all this roundabout.
I didn't like it at all. I didn't
listen.
like it.
Trim is my.
That's very true. I didn't like it.
Trim is my friend. That's my brother. I'll tell you that's my brother. But he is Sammy Davis Jr. in the flesh. He like the
what does that got to do with anything? Whatever.
He like the tap dance.
Whatever.
He like
no,
the tap dance.
I mean, I can't deny it. Just like the same thing when we can't deny Dr. Dre with his quote unquote production, or Drake with his MCing, quote unquote. But they do numbers, just like this did numbers, regardless if I like it or not. Because me personally, if you ask me how I feel about it, no, I didn't like it. I didn't think it was music at the time. I didn't. But that was just me. My whole thing with music is that it's like it's more than just a gimmick to where, let's just put this out there and just let's just see if it works. It works to people, and it's doing stuff. Nah, I mean, for me, I take heart to music. It's a passion to me,
Right.
and I have a respect for it. It's not a gimmick. It's not something that you just put on to like, oh yeah, that did something. Let's go with it. Let's run with it until it don't make no more money no more. No, you're putting it out there, and you're putting stuff out there, and there's repercussions to what you do. I'm like, and I think that era gave way to other acts to try to come out to see what they could do and to get their minutes of shine and fame and just, like fade off in the distance, regardless of whatever you do to the landscape or whatever you put out there or whatever repercussions that might come down in the future. But you put it out there and it just, people are thinking about, I'm going to get mine now. And I'm not thinking about, well, if you got a platform, regardless of how you feel about it, whether it's big or small, you have responsibility. You're gonna use it to enhance or move something forward, or you're gonna just use it to get your 5 minutes of fame, regardless of whatever you put out there, whatever it does. So that's
like Trim didn't like it.
I didn't like it, but I can't deny what it did. It did do stuff, but regardless, I still don't like it.
Chuck, what you think about this? Listen, man, hey, I got two Georgia boys here. You know what I'm saying?
I have a slightly different take than Trim.
Many people will, but yeah.
Just from the standpoint, because even though it wasn't the most technical, groundbreaking type of movement, but it did bring it back. It has a special place in my heart because I was like, I was just going to college and going to the college parties. It was that whole white tee era where all these jokers wearing 4X white tees with the Jabot jeans, Air Force Ones, 2 big hats. That era is always going to have a special.
I love Atlanta.
I remember
everybody drive with 212s in the trunk, rattling.
That was a good time with that part. That part was a good time.
So I get it. Like at first I'm like, why is it just so simple and it's like so goddamn catchy? Like how? And I think, and another thing I was thinking about was like it almost felt like, in my own opinion, because the South we've been trying to prove ourselves to everybody else in the nation. And it's almost like Snap Music was like a middle finger to everybody else. We're going we got the South, and we're gonna make it real simple, and we're gonna push it, and y'all gonna still like it. It is what it is, fam.
Hey,
and they work. It's like instead of us trying we're trying to be technical. We got lyricists and all that. Bump all that for this short period of time. Y'all call those simple. We're gonna make simple music, and guess what? It's gonna hit. And y'all gonna like it,
right? And they did it. They did it.
So,
I mean,
it was. Hey, I was in there snapping for a good year or two. It was a fun time. Like anytime you put that on, you put that on that them franchise boys on.
Get my wife on the scene with some green and some hard white work. Yo, clean fresh jeans and an all white shirt.
Over.
Right. You right. Hey, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm a New Yorker. And first of all, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I have a bad habit of doing that when I get passionate about stuff, right?
This is passion.
Yeah. I'm a New Yorker. Most New Yorkers, let's wake this up real quick. New York didn't like this. Let's wake it up real quick. Y'all did not like this. Let's keep it all the way G.
Question. They didn't like it. Why? Because it wasn't New Yorkish?
Because in New York we're very technical about hip hop.
They're very Swiss beats about hip hop.
Very technical. Let's not.
Listen, we're doing this tonight.
Right.
Listen. You said waking up.
Hey, we ain't waking that up. We ain't waking that up because you already said you trash. So
Whatever. Words
you already
never
woke
came
that
out
up.
of my mouth. Words that never come out of my mouth.
You said it.
Came out of
But
my
anyway,
mouth. Never came out of my mouth.
but we're very technical about hip hop. The production is technical, right? The lyrics are technical. We're just we've grown. Remember, you gotta understand, we are the mother and fathers of hip hop, right? So we birthed this thing, we took it, we preserved it. When they said it wasn't going to go anywhere, we didn't want to push it to the height. And then, so for the world to take it and then make it something else, it's just like anything. It's like if somebody had your child and then took your child and want to put something, like dress your child up a certain way, want to make your child talk a certain way. You're like, nah, my child ain't doing that. This is my kid. But see, what we don't understand is that once you birth a kid into the world, the kid is the world's, right? Like it's out there. So the kid is going to explore and do what it's going to change. It's going to evolve into another person, right? So we don't understand this, but we don't like this. Snap your fingers, because it is not about the South. I want to make this clear. It's not about the South, because we had Scarface, we had who else? We had DOC, because DOC is from the South. We had so many Southern artists before they came through.
So, question
right?
though, but with those Southern artists, were they accepted into hip hop?
What you talking about? I just mentioned Scarface.
I know we have them, but were they really viewed? Was they really viewed and accepted like that in the hip hop?
I just mentioned Scarface.
I know you mentioned them, but did New York really accept them at the time? Because there was a thing. I mean, Andre didn't say, the South got something to say for no reason. I mean, Scarface was out before then. Scarface was out before then at the time.
No, he's saying this because hip hop is always been a New York thing at this point. True. That's why he's saying this. But see, there are artists that was accepted to the people. Not he's talking to the industry. He has to be, because once again, we are playing Luke. I know this. I'm in the club playing Luke. We getting it in. Cap D coming. We in the club. You understand what I'm saying? So in my mind, I think he's talking to the industry, because the industry did have a problem with Southern music, right? Because it's the offices are in New York, the artists are in New York, right? So yeah, you got to come to New York at this time to break your music, right?
Yeah.
Master P, you probably can catch Master P in Harlem somewhere giving away his music, So I say that to say, like, the industry, yes, the industry did it, but the people don't have a voice. The industry is the voice, for the industry. When you're talking about now, I'm not saying that there were some people that were hating, but a lot of people embrace a lot of Southern artists if we could relate to it. Mm-hmm. But when you come with this snap your fingers, you like, yo, what is this? Dum dum dum, dum dum dum. Like, it's weird to them, right? Right? It's weird. It's weird. So anyway, we didn't like it. I know we didn't. I know that for a fact. I probably like. Matter of fact, Bow Wow admitted that he didn't like the Franchise Boys, right? Because he didn't like that lean with it, rock with it. He didn't like that because it was repetitive. He didn't understand it, right? He's from Ohio, but he was raised in Atlanta for the most part. Even he didn't like it, right? But anyway, I don't want to be long-winded on it. I just want to get my point out. So from my standpoint, I'm like, all right, this is weird, and it's simple. See, here's the thing about the snap your finger era. If you weren't in the club, if you didn't go to the clubs, because that's the thing about anything coming out of Atlanta, it gotta hit the club first. And if you're not in the club, you don't understand or feel it, because it's a feeling. You not gonna be able to do. You're not gonna be able to get the feeling, the dancing, and all of that. You're not gonna want to do it, man, because it's a feeling. So when I'm in the club, I can't help to do it. I can't help it. But I'm with Trim though. I mean, I'm with Chuck though. It was a good time because I was. Shout out to Clark Atlanta. I'm an unofficial Clark Atlanta graduate. I ain't paid no tuition, but I was on campus.
You put your time in.
yeah. I was there. And this time period is a special time for me.
Man, what?
It's a special time for me. And it was, yes, the beats were simple. It was. But here is the lesson in the Snap Your Fingers legacy. And it taught a lesson to hip hop. See, hip hop is like a university, right? It's like if you are listening or if you watching it, it can really teach you something. What the Snap Your Finger era taught you is that it don't take a lot to make a hit.
Unfortunately, it doesn't.
Some people just like to have fun.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's so much to impart. It's so much to unpack with that. But just go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Your feelings are valid. I'm not saying that they're not, right? But see, Trim, your thoughts are the same thoughts that New Yorkers have. So you can sit here and you can say about, talk about how the South wasn't accepted. But see, your thoughts are the same thoughts that the New Yorker has, where understand in hip hop, the reason why hip hop never died is because we took the time to figure out different ways to survive, to change it. Rakim, I said, he talked about at one point he thought that hip hop was going to run out of words to say. So the reason why Rakim lyrically and why he's lyrically great is because he took the time to craft his lyrics so that way he always had something different to say. So then you fast forward to just kind of like the styles, like there now in hip hop, there's different styles of hip hop, right? Like there's different sounds that have come out of Atlanta that evolved hip hop, and that Snap Your Fingers era taught us that we need different sounds. It's just like rock. I'm sure that they're in heavy metal. You got heavy metal and you got soft rock and you got different variations. There are people that did heavy metal that probably did not like soft.
Nah, they did not like Limp Bizkit when they came out. They did not.
You see what I'm saying?
At all.
Some people would say he's hip hop. Some people would say he's not. Yes. So in hip hop there has to be different variations of hip hop. If not, then not everybody's going to be pleased. Once again, the Snap Your Fingers came out from the Pool Palace. It was like that was the testing ground for it and it also showed you that in order for you to survive in the game, you got to attach something to it. You got to attach something to it so that way it will not only, it's going to stick, and the people are going to enjoy it even more, right? If if that beat, doom doom doom, doom doom doom, didn't come with a dance, no one's liking that. No one's liking it. Look at the Wobble. The song Wobble by what's his name, Chuck?
What Franski Victor Vic
Vic V-I-C.
Vic, yeah.
Prime example, right? That song was not that big. That wasn't a big thing. It wasn't big of a song. Like it was just. He had another song, Get Silly. Remember that song?
Yes.
I forgot about that, Chuck. I should have put that on the playlist, dog.
Bruh, Get Silly.
Shout out to Jazz. Happy birthday, Jazz. I just DJ'd at her birthday party. I mean, I should have said that in the beginning. Happy birthday, sis. And you know, we had such a good time at your party, and I did. I know I did. I get so when I DJ, I get so much in the zone that I don't even know what's going on. I just DJ. I hope everybody had a good time. But that song was not big until somebody did a YouTube video and made up the dance Wobble. Right? So that song wasn't really doing that big until the dance was attached to it. So the dancing and the beat are one. They don't survive without each other.
That's right.
Then right.